And we are
What's going on?
live on a Monday.
Welcome on Monday to the Legends Clubhouse. I am Mr. Monday Morning, Bobby Kaboose. As always late, Lawson Turner. What's going on, man?
So we've
How
gone
was
from
how was your 4th of July weekend?
my 4th of July was awesome, but I was gonna say we've transferred from Monday Night Law to now always late Lawson.
Always late, Lawson. Yeah,
Someone's got to be late. Um,
I'm good, and it's usually you. So
hey,
I've been up and ready, for like 3 hours. I was blowing your phone up to make sure that you were
I mean you look it.
prepared for today, and I didn't hear anything back. So I didn't hear anything until 7:29 from you. So
Some
you know,
someone's got to be
someone's
late.
on point and someone's not.
Yeah.
Um, but what'd you do that was so awesome for the 4th of July?
What I did was so awesome. Number one, I watched Joey Jaws, make his return and eat 70 and a half hot dogs in 10 minutes, and I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous.
So get this, dude. Like my girl doesn't. She knew nothing about the fucking hot dog eating
Oh,
contest, and
and you're like, babe, we're watching this.
I turn it on, and she's like, they're introducing the people like they're fucking wrestlers, and she's like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's a hot dog eating contest." And she's like, "Why are we watching this?" I was like, "'Cause it's tradition." Like, and she's like,
Yeah.
"What tradition?" I go, "They do it every year on 4th of July." She's like, "Really?" Dude, we start watching, and like as soon as we start watching, she's like, "Yeah, I'm not watching this," and just fucking turns her head. He got like so disgusted,
What's wrong with
and I just kept going, and
What's wrong with Joey Jaws? He's
I go, he's eaten 40 in 4 minutes. And she's like, "That's absolute disgusting."
I saw I saw the when they were throwing graphics up. They said in like the first minute and a half, he was on like a 9.28 hot dogs per minute pace, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. No, though, but so
I
continue.
think the next highest guy didn't even have 50 hot dogs. Like,
Yeah, I looked it up.
like,
Joey had like 70 and a half. The next highest dude had like 43.
yeah,
Like
'cause I was like, dude, why didn't he just stop at like 52? Like, he
he,
could have easily
he's
still
going for
won.
he's going for his record. I think his record's like 76.
It is.
And I'm like,
It
that's
is.
a fucking lot, bruh. Like that's a
That can't be
lot.
good for you, right? Like, that can't look good for you, like, health wise.
No, because your stomach
And
is
then you have to
expanding and
take.
and all that shit, dude. I remember when I showed my mom, like, I'm like, yo ma, check this out. This is Joey Chestnut. He's the goat of eaters, and she was expecting him to be some like big old fat dude, and I showed her a picture. She was like, that's the guy, and I was like, that's the goat eater, bro. She was like, I thought he'd be
Well,
like fat as shit.
yeah, it was like Kobayashi. Kobayashi was like a little, like, what, Japanese guy?
Yeah,
Like,
little pudgy. Yeah. Though, but so instead of going and taking my nephew and all that stuff to go see fireworks, why not bring the fireworks here? Because they weren't gonna start till fucking 9:30, and even though
mhm.
bro stayed up, because he, we try to get him to bed around like I say we like I'm involved. My sister tries to get him to bed around like 9:30, and so my boy and his girl and their two little babies came over, so they were all popping fireworks in the back, and it was so funny because my nephew would see it go up, and after it popped, he go, wow. And then like after we're lighting the next one, he would say all done, and we're like, no, we got some more. We're not all done.
And
Yeah,
then he'd
but
be
it
like,
was dope.
"Oh, wow."
Yeah, he was like
Uh,
it was shoot pop pop. And he was like, oh wow.
you're like his au pair.
My what?
You know what an au pair is?
No.
Come on, man. It's French, for like live-in nanny. Like like some people will get au pairs, and like it's just a nanny that lives with them, right?
Yeah.
So you're like that.
I mean, yeah, bro, dude. Every time, like, every time I see him or he hears me, bro's gotta come find me, bro. Like, it's funny because he's starting to like slowly get to the running. So like, I remember when yo ass couldn't walk at all. And so, like, I'll see him start to run, and
Better humble yourself.
dude, I remember when you used to crawl up the fucking hall,
A
and
little bit. I remember when you were crawling.
dude,
Like, you're talking shit to a
dude,
2-year-old.
and for not even two yet. And what's even more funny is he'll get like not in the mood, but he'll like just walk, and like I don't want to walk like step over him or anything, or say move. I'm trying to walk, and this motherfucker will
Yeah.
take his time and just stomp, 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 and just like slow as fuck. He takes his leg almost as high as Scooble's leg kick is for when he's about to throw a two seam, bro. Like he's just stomp, stomp, stomp. And I'm like, bro, I'm trying to move. I'm trying to,
Stepping down to the end zone.
dude, for no reason at all. Like, bro, you're not even two. You have nowhere you have to be. He's on his own
Does he
time.
think that does he think he's Reptar, man?
I guess, bro.
Oh my god.
So what'd you do for
But yeah,
Fourth of July?
just had a couple of pool parties / barbecues. Spent a lot of time outside. Got fucking bit the fuck up by mosquitoes. And because I was even out late, like they were just around the pool, and I'm like just finding myself fucking scratching my arms and shit. But dude, I came to a realization that I don't think I've watched fireworks like not like I've never really been the type to go outside and just be like, oh, let's just fucking look in the sky or whatever the fuck, or hang out with a neighbor.
Right.
But I mean like a city's fireworks. I realized that I haven't been to one in like 18 years. Like I just don't care about fireworks. Like
Yeah.
I really don't, and I'm just glad that Wyatt, my pup, he did all right with them, and I just stay inside and be cool and do other stuff.
Yeah. It's really interesting, because when you're, younger, the concept of the fireworks, like it's like my nephew, bro. It's like, oh, wow, bro. When we
Hmm.
went to start setting them off, there was fucking people left and right setting them off for the past 2 hours. People were setting them off the day before, and I'm like, bro, for real,
Yeah,
like this is what we're doing?
right.
Shit makes no sense.
Like, what are you, 5? You don't
It
need your fucking seats and sparklers.
it it's like people that set the like fireworks off for New Year's at like 9 o'clock. It's like, bro, you got another 3 hours to kill.
Yeah,
Shit makes no sense to me.
exactly.
Did you watch any
Uh,
baseball yesterday? Because it started at like 11 o'clock.
I watched the Tigers yesterday.
That game was
Uh,
nuts.
and it was they ended up kind of scoring on a pass ball
Yeah,
and tying it up in the ninth, and then they uh scored 6 runs in the 10th.
yeah.
They scored 6 runs without getting an out in the 10th.
It
And
was,
then yeah, it was pretty much a wrap after that, right?
yeah, dude. I saw a couple things. It was like the Guardians are 1 out away from breaking their 6-game losing streak and pass ball. And then I saw another thing on Twitter where someone bet the under. I think the under was like 7.5
Hmm.
for
Yeah,
total runs scored, and then it fucking ends 7-1 because they scored 6 in the
I
top.
think
Huh?
it was 7-2.
7. Holy shit! Like it made a difference. Um,
It did because
it
you
did for
wanted
the
to make a
better.
dramatic effect
It did
that
for the
someone
better.
lost by a half of run,
They
and it
got
was at one
shelled.
and a half run, so it wasn't as dramatic as you thought. Just a little
Well,
less dramatic.
still, listen here, betters. Feels bad. Feels bad.
Oh yeah, it does feel bad, but it feels a little better that it was 9 instead of 8.
Yeah, but
So that was
it
my point. That's why
comes
that
what it
extra
is.
run counts.
That's what. That's the sole reason why it counts to make the better feel less pain.
Yes. Yeah.
No,
Because
it's
like
still the
who knows, the better would have maybe been like, man, I'm thinking about ending it all because I lost by the goddamn hook, and then their buddy's like, no, no, man, no. Hey, they lost by 1.5. You'd be like, oh, okay,
I can live with that.
1.5.
I can,
I can live with it.
bro. The amount of hooks that's been going around is crazy. I saw a couple slips last night where some people turned $1 into 40K, 5 to 190, and I'm and I'm like, damn.
some crazy parlays going then.
Bro,
Uh,
like a bunch of alternate strikeouts because everyone was getting 10 plus strikeouts. Like Scooble
mm,
10, Zach Wheeler pitched a complete game 10, Skeens 10 through 5. You know, Matthew Boyd for the Cubs had 9 and 5. Like everyone was getting crazy
former
strikeouts.
Tiger,
Huh?
former Tiger Matthew Boyd.
Wow.
Um, Speaking of people switching teams, man, we promised the fans something that we have to get into.
We do need to get into
Um,
it.
NBA free agency started last week,
Hmm.
and you are going to educate me about everything NBA free agency.
Yeah, so there's been a shitload of movement from trades to signings to re-signings, which it's not really like a player addition if you're just re-signing somebody. So let's get straight into it. So a team that I love everything that they've done, the Atlanta Hawks. Now the Atlanta Hawks they've been in a slow free fall ever since making the Eastern Conference Finals in 2021, right? So they did a sign and trade for Nikhil Alexander Walker, solid 3-point shooter, really good perimeter defender. They signed Luke Kennard, who's a career 44% 3-point shooter, and they trade for Kristaps Porzingis. Now they lost Clint Capella, who's been there since he left Houston in 2020. 21, I think. And so you lose Clint Capella, he's undersized at 6'10 from the center spot, but he's been a good rebounder, rim running 5, and you make the trade, and you still have Okongwu, who's been a solid backup center, and you had Kristaps
Who?
Port. I cannot pronounce his first name. His last name's Okongwu.
A Kungwu.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okongwu. He's lit. He's nice. He's
Kungwu.
yeah, 6'11", athletic, young, solid shot blocker, can hit a corner three. Now, what Porzingis does and why I think he can really unlock the whole spiel is last year was one of the first years that the Hawks have actually surrounded Trae Young with a lot of shooting. Getting Dyson Daniels, who can be the best defender on a young up and coming contending team. Jalen Johnson suffered a shoulder injury that kept him out most of the year, but he's another. Atlanta's just a really young team that, with the East so wide open, they have the depth, they have the coaching. Who former coach of the year, Quinn Snyder. Trae Young's a baller. Well, it depends on how much you value a ball dominant point guard.
So, let me know if I'm right on this. Capella is more of an inside guy, right? More of
Yeah.
an athletic non-shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So by getting rid of him, they're spreading out the floor
Bingo.
and bringing shooters around, similar to like what the Pistons did with Cade Cunningham.
Yep.
I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Kennard, I'm a little familiar with because he is a former Piston as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I know Porzingis. I know he's a stretch 5. So do you think you said you love the moves that they're making? Is this going to put them as a contender in the East, or are they still a couple pieces away?
Mm-hmm. With the
Let me know.
with the East still being so wide open, I give them as good of a puncher's chance as any other team, due to, once again, you have a high level head coach, you have your superstar in Trae Young. It's crazy to consider Atlanta a championship level contender. However, with all the young pieces that they've been building there for the past 3 years, they've made every acquisition, whether it be a trade that they did last year or who they targeted in the draft or this, that, and the third. Everything's just kind of boiling together to where this could be an actual, contender, maybe this year or in the years to come, because everybody's so young together.
Okay, and one more question about the Atlanta Hawks.
Yep.
If you bring on Josh Smith and Mookie Blaylock, are they more or less than a contender than they are right now?
More, because even though Josh Smith was a crazy athlete, he could, I feel like Josh Smith is the kind of player now, especially in today's game, where he would mesh well due to his ability to shoot the ball better for his era than what your normal shooters were. Because back when Josh Smith was giving out buckets, there weren't really a lot of shooters.
He wasn't given a lot of buckets in Detroit, but
No, he was
let's
not.
let's move on to the next squad. Who you got
Yeah.
next?
Um, the Houston Rockets are really going to be an interesting team. They actually signed Clint Capella. They traded for Kevin Durant. They signed Dorian Finney-Smith, who's a great 3-and-D player. Now they lose Dylan Brooks, they lose Jalen Green, and they traded Cam Whitmore to the Washington Wizards. Now Cam Whitmore is a nice young up-and-coming player. However, he kind of fell out of the rotation, so Washington only giving up 2 second-round picks for such a young player that can still develop. That's a good trade for Washington. For Houston, it's all about Kevin Durant. They won 50 games last year. They lost to the Warriors in the first round in Game 7 at home. The problem with Houston all year last year, they were a great defensive team. However, they couldn't score the basketball. They just couldn't. They had long stretches of they played great defense, but Jalen Green's inconsistency was really their downfall due to when you're a young player and you rely so much on athleticism, that will only get you so far. Can you develop now? Granted, he's still 22, 23. However, for how good this roster is, they're in win now mode. So that's why you go and get a Kevin Durant.
So they were what, the number one or two seed in the playoffs?
They were the number
Two.
2 seed.
So bringing Kevin Durant in, obviously, he's one of the best scorers of all time. But
Mm.
does this actually make them better? And because it seems like they lost a lot. Just
Mm.
looking at it, I mean, I'm not a fan of Dylan Brooks, but he is what he is.
Yeah.
And Jalen Green was number 2 pick in the draft right after Cade Cunningham. Like
Yeah.
there was some debate who should go number 1, or a small debate, whether. But is this a good move for Houston as far as, are they going to be a better team with KD but without the other pieces? And do you think that they are looking very short term, or is this going to are they going to have like long-term success with this move that they did
Yeah.
for Kevin Durant? I can only see him playing another, what, 2 or 3 years, right?
Yeah. At most, I would give Durant at most 3 more years. So this is really like the cultivation of a win now move. You have these next 2 years with Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant's not a young man. He's 36. So you're trading the potential of what Jalen Green could be to what Kevin Durant is and already has been. Out of the 50, out of the 58 players that took 500 just jump shots in the NBA last season, Kevin Durant was number 1 in efficiency. So you're even at his older age, one of the best pure jump shooters in the NBA. And a player that, oh, there's 8 on the shot clock, no one's open, we can't get a good shot, just give it to Durant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so let me ask you this.
Hmm.
Would this team benefit if they brought back Katino Mobley?
Yes.
Sweet. All right, cool.
Coutinho
That's all.
Mobley, that was a great pull.
Yeah,
Hmm.
shooting threes from the corner.
Yeah, someone's got to.
Touching up. Exactly.
Um, to go back to a team in the East that I at first it was really interesting because the Orlando Magic, they've been a young up and coming team, with Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner over the past couple years. They got bounced by the Celtics in round 1 this past year. However, they make a crazy move, giving up 4 first-round picks for Desmond Bane, and they signed Tyus Jones to a 1-year, $7 million deal. Now, Tyus Jones is going to be beneficial due to he's cut from the old guard of your old school point guards. He led the league in assist to turnover ratio when he was in Memphis, when he was backing up Ja Morant before he went to Washington, then to Phoenix, and now he's in Orlando. So now Paulo doesn't have to have so much of the bulk of the offense ran through him from a pure playmaking perspective. Now Desmond Bane, for as much of a semi non-factor he was in Memphis, I'm not saying that he's a bad player, because he's a 20-point scorer and another one of the best pure jump shooters in the league. Orlando was a lot like Houston last year, where they were long, athletic, really, really great defensively. They also just couldn't score. Now, Desmond Bane, out of those same 58 players that qualified, that took 500 or more jump shots last season. He ranked 12th in efficiency, and he shot 60% on shot attempts coming off of off-ball screens, including 52% from three. What does that mean? When you're running a lot of these off-ball actions, off the Jordan shrug. when
I don't know
you're
what that means.
when you're running a lot of off-ball action to where it's like, oh, set a screen off the ball so Desmond can just sprint off of it. It's one of the things that we've seen Steph Curry do for so long. If you're a younger fan, where he'll just sprint all the way around and off these off-ball screens, just catch, turn, shoot. And Desmond Bain shot 52% just from three off those shots last year, including 60% from the floor. So I love
He's
or say what?
a regular Rip Hamilton.
Rip Hamilton, Reggie, kind of from that, kind of efficiency last year, which is nuts because he's a undersized two guard. He's only about 6'4.5", which it's so funny due to like when I said Clint Capella was an undersized center at 6'10", where you'll see George Kittle at a Warriors game, and for NFL standards, oh, he's a big physical freak, and Steph's as tall as him, and Steph is considered
Yeah,
a small player in NBA terms.
right.
It's just something
Yeah.
that it's always been funny to me.
So where did Orlando finish last year?
Orlando finished with I think they were the sixth seed, seventh seed. Let me see. Let me double
Okay,
check.
so do you think that they're gonna make a jump into a
Yeah, they'll be a
like
top
top
5 seed.
four
Yeah,
seed?
yeah,
Okay.
that's my guess. Yeah, they were the 7th seed and finished with a 41-41 record, and they were number one in opponent points per game, just allowing a little over 105 points per game.
Now with Desmond Bain running off all these screens, do you think it would be beneficiary if they made a phone call to Carlos Arroyo to handle the ball?
They got Tyus Jones, but you know what? You can never have too many ball handlers.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Another team, you know what?
I think Carlos Arroyo was on the Orlando Magic at one point.
Probably, dude. Now, let's dive into your
Don't
team.
swear at me.
I'm not swearing at you. I'm swearing with
I'm
you.
swearing with you. Oh, okay. Because I didn't swear.
Yeah, well,
That was pointed towards me.
you need to swear with me then. So the Detroit Pistons, your Detroit Pistons, they signed Karis LeVert, who will be another great off the bench scorer. With
Former Michigan Wolverine.
former
I think.
Michigan, it might have been a Wolverine.
I think he was a Wolverine.
Um, he's just
Which
another great player off, huh?
Michigan sucks, but man, go Michigan State, baby. Go Sparty. Sparty up. Sparty on.
Go get your
Go
Sparty.
green. Go white.
Go get your Sparty on. That's crazy. Karis
I am,
LeVert's a great bench scorer. It's interesting because Jaden Ivey was that for a lot of the early part of last year, and then he broke his leg. And I don't know if he's going to be ready for training camp. I haven't done my due diligence and looking into reports to see if he is going to be ready for training camp or what his timetable is to return. They also signed a former Miami Heat 3-point shooter Duncan Robinson now. It's going to be interesting to see because his entire career he's been with Miami. So it's going to be interesting to see how he fits into a young Pistons lineup.
Does Duncan Robinson wear eyeliner? Because it always looks like he's wearing eyeliner.
I don't think he wears eyeliner.
Yeah. He always looks like he's wearing eyeliner to me. But I'm assuming they got him to stretch the floor. They lost a couple of people. They lost Dennis Schroeder.
Yep.
They lost. Did they lose Hardaway?
Yep.
I think they lost Hardaway. Did they lose Malik Beasley?
They did not.
Okay. He got in trouble for something. He got in trouble for gambling or something, I think.
Yeah.
So do you think these moves made the Pistons are a better team, or because you said the East is wide open? I do know there's talks about oh man, could the Pistons get into the Eastern Conference Finals next year, and who knows? But we ride the Cade wave. Yeah, so I'm curious on how these couple pieces are going to work out. But the real question is, do you think if they brought in Rodney Stuckey, would the Pistons be a better or a worse team?
Do you know how long it's been since I heard Rodney Stuckey?
Probably half hour.
I mean, No, I'm not looking up Rodney Stuckey on Basketball Reference to check his accolades. No, I'm not. So
The NBA 50 Cent.
NBA 50.
He looks just like 50 Cent, straight
Didn't
from Eastern Washington.
didn't J. Cole do a tryout for the Pistons like in 2012?
I don't know. They sucked, so I was
Probably.
checked out. Dude, I hated Roddy Stuckey, man. I could not stand him. They thought he was gonna be like the next Chauncey Billups and the next guy, like superstar, and they made everything catered to him, and he sucked. But so the answer would be if they added Rodney Stuckey, they would be a worse team.
They would be a worse
You got
team.
that one wrong.
Yeah, to move to it's great you mentioned, Tim Hardaway Jr. Denver is looking to reload in a crazy way to try and make another push to another Western Conference and potentially an NBA Finals appearance. They re-signed or not re-signed. Well, depending upon how you want to phrase it, they signed Bruce Brown back. He was on their championship team, and then he went to Toronto, and now he's back with the Nuggets. They also made a crazy blockbuster trade, trading Michael Porter Jr. for and a first-round pick for Cam Johnson from the Brooklyn Nets. They also acquired Tim Hardaway Jr. and Jonas Valanciunas from the Sacramento Kings. Now, Jonas Valanciunas is kind of a wild card because he's getting an offer from his he's getting an offer from an overseas team. I don't remember where he's from. I don't know if he's Lithuanian or whatever the case may be. However, he's getting an offer from overseas, and Denver is like, no, we're gonna push this trade through, and we want you here to fill up, this roster spot X, Y, Z. I like all their moves too. You're adding great bench depth with Bruce Brown, another three-point sniper in Cam Johnson, Tim Hardaway Jr. who can also make it rain, and Jonas Valanciunas who should give should give the Nuggets some credible backup center minutes when Jokic is off the floor.
Dude, it's crazy how like the NBA like they want to spread the floor so much and like just leave everything in the middle versus like what you were taught like growing up, like pound the ball in the middle,
Take your
pound the
easy
ball in the middle.
shots.
Take the easy shots, take the layup, and shit. Now like you're like, no, don't enter the paint. Get out of there. Don't even go inside the arc.
It's
Just pass it around the perimeter.
it's kind of how Mike D'Antoni used to coach. Whether
Yeah,
listen, we need layups, dunks, and threes. No
yeah,
mid ranges. None of that.
yeah. For the Denver Nuggets, they were top of the West last year, right?
They were the number 4 seed, 5 seed,
Okay,
four
number
seed.
four. They, the last few years they've been, in the top four.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be beneficiary if they brought back J.R. Smith and the Birdman?
Yes. For everything
Okay,
Jokic is not, Birdman is. God,
Birdman can rebound.
who
And
who remembers that giant greased up mohawk?
who remembers him on the show Catfish?
He was on Catfish.
Yeah, dude, he
Was
got catfished. He got catfished, and the girl that he was talking to was also catfished. They were both talking to some girl in Canada,
Wait a
and
minute,
like the
hold
girl
on.
in Canada would like transfer the messages, and then
What?
yeah, dude, it was fucking crazy. It was all on the news and shit.
That's so fucking funny. And
Yeah, man.
J.R.
It
Smith.
almost ruined Chris Anderson's career, dude. It like for real. Like he almost got some serious trouble, and then they found out it was some weird chick in Canada that was like living in the middle of nowhere.
That's fucking
And
insane.
she was just bored, and she wasn't like, for some reason she like couldn't leave her house or something. Maybe she was taking care of her mom or something,
Hmm.
and she couldn't leave her house. So like she was like the only one in there, and she was just bored. And she was like, they would send her messages, and she would like communicate, and then like they met up,
That's
and the two
crazy.
people met up, like Chris Anderson and the girl, and they realized that they weren't talking to each other.
That's. Imagine being in a catfish triangle, bro.
Yeah, dude.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember seeing on the internet. This was a couple years ago. This one girl got catfished by Brad Pitt. Well, not by Brad Pitt, a fake Brad
All
Pitt,
right.
right? Yeah. And so she was, whoever it was, they were sending pictures to this girl of an edited Brad Pitt, like in the hospital, and like, hey, I need you to pay for my surgery. All my bank accounts are frozen, and this poor woman paid like 112 grand for surgeries.
There was a chick that thought she was talking to Bow Wow. There was a dude that thought he was talking to Katy Perry, and like, dude, the dude that thought he was talking to Katy Perry, he meets up the girl. He meets the girl, dude, like
Oh
face to
god.
face, like just like face to fucking face, and they talked to like after like the update,
Yeah.
and they call him like a month or two later or whatever. He's like, yeah, I'm still emailing Katy Perry. I still believe that it's her. I just think she,
What?
was shy and didn't want to be on camera. And like Neve and Cammy were like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, right? Like we literally just saw the person that admitted to doing it. And he's like, yeah, I don't know, there's something weird about this. I just don't believe it. Like,
That's fucking
Jesus Christ,
insane.
dude.
The like that shit was always funny to me. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
dude, you fucking nut. Back
So
to
anyway,
basketball. Back to basketball.
back to back.
Let's go to LA where both Lakers and Clippers teams. I thought they had some solid moves. The Clippers brought in Brook Lopez at a 2-year, $18 million a year 2 years, $18 million contract. So it's really interesting to
Plus,
me
Lopez is
because,
getting old, man.
dude, it's crazy about Brook Lopez because I remember when he was in Brooklyn, and if you look, like, he was not, obviously wasn't the first, but he was one of the players that first started to expand his game because, like, I think for the first 4 or 5 years of his career he took like 8 total threes, and then like
Yeah,
the year after that he took like 187.
but he doesn't jump.
No, he's just big as shit.
He just shoots it. And then his brother looks like Sideshow Bob. And, yeah, I think his brother's been out of the league for a while, right?
Yeah, leave Robin Lopez alone.
Leave him alone.
Leave him
He's
alone.
sensitive. Um,
Just look at his hair.
but yeah, so with bringing in Big Brook is what I'm gonna call him.
Mm,
Big Brook. I guess you could kind of say the Clippers don't need to bring in Michael Olowokandi.
no, they don't.
Okay. All right. Just make sure, he was a former number one pick.
Bob McAdoo
Um,
could be different, but
all right.
yeah.
I mean,
Um,
what about like Darius Miles?
no,
You can bring him back. Mr. No.
no.
All right.
I Brooke is such a good. So I wanted, as a LeBron fan, I wanted the Lakers to get him so bad because he's still, even though he's still, getting up there in age, good player who can stretch the floor, great size, can give you positive minutes on the floor, and is a great rim protector, even at this old age. Now, to the other
Why
team,
would you want him on the Lakers if LeBron's leaving the Lakers?
he's not leaving the Lakers.
Yeah, he is.
Maybe after this year,
He's going to China because no one fucking wants him here.
we want LeBron. Anyways, so the
And
Lakers,
Bronny, Bronny's gonna just get cut as soon as LeBron leaves the Lakers. You know that. You know that's gonna happen, right? Like
nah.
everyone knows that's gonna happen, right?
That's what's going to be really interesting for everybody that was like, oh, Bronny is a nepo baby and stuff like that. I'm like, it's not like he was a top 10 pick. He was the 55th pick.
But dude, the dude like he can't ball, dude.
Oh, he can ball.
He can't ball.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, compared to like me and you,
yeah.
but like compared to anyone else that's good, that's
I,
relevant.
I mean, he can be a bench player.
No, he can't.
You don't think so?
No.
I think you're being a hater. Anyways, so the
Oh, man,
Lakers,
he's Canadian professional at best.
he's what?
Canadian professional at best.
Hey, don't sleep on the Canadians.
Dude, 51st state.
51st state. That 51st state shit is so funny. But anyways, back to Lakers with.
I know the Toronto Raptors. No,
We're not touching on the Toronto Raptors. They only made one move, and he'll probably be the 11th man on the bench. Sorry. Sorry, Toronto fans. So the Lakers, they signed DeAndre Ayton after him and Portland agreed to a buyout, and this is going to be the personification of a roller coaster ride. Like, there's going to be really highs and there's going to be really lows. The big question for DeAndre Ayton is his motor. His motor, for some reason, just doesn't run hot enough. It seems as if he takes possessions off. Now, I don't know if it was because he was in a bad situation in Portland. I don't know if it was because, once again, he was a big piece of the championship team that went to um, he was a big piece on the championship Suns team when they went and lost to the Bucks in 2021. Um, and then he gets shipped to Portland, and it's like, well, he's just a former number one overall pick who's just kind of riding away now. He does have really good touch around the rim. He's athletic. He's only 26, so it's a buy low, sell high, thing for the Lakers. You bring him in, maybe JJ Redick, and maybe being around some all time great players, like Luke and LeBron will kind of mold something, if
LeBron's not an all-time player, so I don't know why you said that. But steel cage match. Who do you got? DeAndre Ayton
okay.
or Greg Oden?
I might have to give it to Greg Oden.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
I just know he fights dirty. Just look at him.
Yeah, they both look like they're 55 years old.
Bro,
And
it was so funny when he was coming out of college at Arizona. I was like, he's the oldest 19-year-old looking dude I've ever seen, DeAndre Ayton, bro.
that's like Greg Oden in Ohio State, dude. Like he just looked
real.
like 50 years old when he was 19. But also, are the Lakers, do they have any chance of bringing back Nick Van Exel?
No, they don't.
Okay.
If
they could really use that crossover.
They really could. Nick Van Exel, that's fucking nuts.
Eddie Jones?
You said who?
Eddie Jones?
No.
Do you know who Eddie Jones is?
No.
Eddie Jones was Kobe before Kobe. And they drafted Kobe and got rid of Eddie Jones because he was their starting shooting guard.
That's funny.
Kobe played behind him 1 year, I think.
And then they said, you got to get your. Have you.
So then they traded him to, I think, Miami or something. He played for Miami and he played for a couple other teams after. But yeah, he was like their guy until.
I was thinking of Eddie House.
Eddie House.
Yeah, shout out to Miami Heat.
Oh yeah, Eddie House. Shout out Eddie House, number 55. Miami Heat, baby.
Just a funky number. And speaking of funky, a team that really has had an interesting offseason, the Milwaukee Bucks, entering this offseason, they had one thing and thought in mind. What can we do to make Giannis, stay and be happy here and prove to him that we can continue to build a contending team? So they do something interesting.
Glenn Robinson?
Huh?
Bring in Glenn Robinson?
No Michael Redd. No Larry Sanders.
What about no, I think he was a Minnesota Timberwolf. Sebastian Telfair.
He probably was on the Bucks at one point. No Sidney Moncrief. None of that.
I'm not familiar with him.
Sidney Moncrief?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Sidney Moncrief was a baller in the late 90s, I think.
Sebastian Telfair was like LeBron before LeBron, and then he was a huge bust. Like they had so much high school coverage on this kid.
Bro, I remember when I know we already talked about him, but when Michael Porter Jr. was in high school, bro, he was everywhere, projected #1 pick since bro was like yay high, and then he fucked up his neck, and that's when he fell to Denver. Kind of nuts. But the Milwaukee Bucks, they signed Gary Harris, who will be a solid bench player.
Michigan State Spartan, maybe.
Spartan. Since they lost Brook Lopez, they're like, okay, well, what can we do for the center position? They go and get Miles Turner from the Indiana Pacers, which is kind of, if I was a Pacer fan, I would be pissed. You're telling me you're gonna go to the team that we beat in back-to-back years in the first round? You're gonna go join them for what? I mean, I get it in theory. You're playing next to Giannis, which is probably better than your situation now. Now that there's no Tyrese Haliburton there, but it's just it's interesting to see whenever players go to teams that either you beat them or they beat you and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in baseball, someone going from the Yankees to the Red Sox or whatever.
It's just funky.
I feel like I feel like rivalries are still obviously alive, but I think they're more fan based. Like
Yeah,
I don't think there's actually like I don't think people actually take pride in like, oh, I play for the, you know, Chicago Bears, I hate the Packers, or
yeah,
or whatever. Like I don't think players actually fucking care anymore. Like I think it's like especially with free agency being the way it is
mm,
in all sports, like you can switch teams so easily.
yeah,
Back in the day, you were kind of most likely going to stay with the same team that drafted you for the majority of your career, and now it's not the case. So yeah, it is kind of weird. I just don't think I just don't think athletes care about rivalries anymore.
yeah.
That's my homework,
Yeah,
but
I'm right there with you where I agree that the majority of the athletes they probably don't. Which once again, if they're offering you a crazy bag somewhere else, because I think the Pacers were offering him like 21, 22 million, and the Bucks gave him
Mhm.
25, 26. So it's like,
Well, like look at guys like Durant. I mean, like
yeah, he goes to
he's
Golden State.
with all the colors of the rainbow, dude. Like, do you think he really cares about the city that he plays for, or do you think that he is like it's basically just like changing your shirt? Like, okay, well now I'm wearing these colors. It doesn't
Yeah,
fucking matter.
yeah. All right, there, which and we can get into a Durant discussion at a longer day because
Yeah,
however the Milwaukee Bucks waived Damian Lillard, which is fucking nuts
yeah.
because I understand the in theory part of he's a 34-year-old point guard coming off an Achilles injury that's not ideal. However, you trade for him, you pay him, you waive him now, and you disperse the 113 million still owed to him over the next 5 years. That's the most amount of money any NBA team has ever paid a player to just go away,
Go away.
go away.
See ya.
Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't know.
You would think like it would like unless he was like a super cancer to the locker room or something, you'd think it would still benefit him to just keep him around, but
Yeah,
apparently not.
I was talking to some friends when it happened, and I was like, it would suck if I was a GM. And they're like, why? I said, because whatever I sign you to that contract, I don't give a damn what injury you got. You're coming back here because you signed the
Get
deal.
your ass on the court.
Well, I mean, once you rehab, you're coming back to my team. I signed you for a reason. You're in my vision now. Unless Giannis was like, this shit didn't work, and it was 2 years.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I could think of.
Yeah, I would think that's probably the case.
Hmm. Yeah.
Any- Anyone else?
I mean, there's a lot of other interesting smaller moves like the Cavs got Lonzo Ball,
That
and for as much as
does
Lonzo's been
he even
injured,
do anything? Like
huh?
he it doesn't he play like 8 games a season?
If he can stay healthy, I love me some Lonzo Ball.
He's not the good ball, right? He's the other one.
There are
I mean,
two.
he's not the rapper and he's not the good basketball player, right? He's just there.
Lonzo's got He's got a solid game. He was one that came into the league with the funky jumper.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's not good.
he's
And
good.
he plays like 10 games a season because he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
And he's the worst of the Ball brothers because he doesn't rap and he doesn't play basketball. So
Oh, he plays basketball. You gonna see this
not
year
very good.
in
Not
Cleveland.
very good.
In
Not
Cleveland, he
very
will.
good. Dude, I just want to tell you, no one, whether it's Cleveland, whether it's Cincinnati, whether it's Columbus, whether it's Bluffton, no one in Ohio is fucking successful, and they all fucking suck ass. Ohio as a state is the butthole of America. It's all shit. So he
It's
ain't
all
gonna do
shit.
nothing there.
I mean, probably not, but it's with the once again the
Us northerners in the mitten, baby.
in the mitten.
In the mitten. The murder mitten.
I must be in North. I don't know I don't know what that is.
Michigan, dude.
The That's what y'all call it, the mitten, because it looks like
The-
that on the map.
yeah, man. The murder mitten, dude.
Do we call Italy the boot?
Yeah.
Oh, they're fucking weird.
You're weird, dude. You live in a state that sucks. What do you have?
Wow.
Peaches?
Yeah.
Cool. Peaches. The
Ooh,
Floribama Shore, or that's actually Florida and Alabama. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
dumbass.
Georgia sucks ass.
At least I'm not from a mitten.
You do. Hey, we have 5 Great Lakes. How many Great Lakes do you have? 0.
Speaking speaking of a lake, there's there's a lake what the fuck is it called? I think it's Lanier.
Cleveland.
Cleveland does suck. Um Over 4th of July, there's this lake in Georgia, probably about an hour and a half from me, where it's known for like people disappearing and shit like that in it. And there's just a video of, you know, a bunch, huh?
I just said all right.
Yeah, and so, well, I had to give the context because there's a video, and these people, they're all just hanging out in their boats, and just one boat on water catches on fire, and so I'm just like, oh, that's fucking nice.
Was it part of the poop cruise?
I, if there was flaming shit on a boat, I would abandon ship.
Dude, did you watch the poop cruise?
I can't say that I watched the trailer.
Dude, the
That
poop
shit,
cruise is
that
awful.
that shit looked disgusting. No pun
Dude,
intended.
dude. The best part of the fucking documentary is there's another cruise ship that like comes right next to them. And they're, this is like day like
Yeah,
7
and
or
they're memeing
shit,
on
like they're
them.
already like swamped in shit.
Yeah.
And the other crews, they're all like partying shit, fucking dancing, taking shots, and they realize that they can't transfer the 1,000 people over there. So all the people on the poop cruise are like, dude, fuck you.
Bro, at that point, I think I said it on Friday. I'd go tribal, bro. Like,
Yeah. They did, man. They did.
like
They started making flips and shit.
I'd start flinging shit at their
They're like, yeah, if you have to piss, go in the shower. If you have to take a shit, here's a red bag. They're like, I'm not shitting in a bag.
Nah, bro. Nah, they can have it. Yeah, though, but that
Oh,
kind of sums up the majority of free agency and what's been going on this offseason.
all right, man. So who so far has had the best off season in your opinion? Toronto?
No.
No.
Probably
Utah?
they traded Colin Sexton for Yusuf Nurkic. That's not gonna make a damn difference.
Are they
Um,
getting Andre Karolinko back?
no, they're not getting AK-47 back.
What about Darren Williams?
No, yo, Darren
What about
Williams, underrated, awesome baller back in like the mid 2010s.
he was one of my faves.
Dude, he was
What about
so
Jeff
good.
Hornacek?
No,
Greg Ostertag?
you lost me on that one.
I don't know his first name, but his last name was Polonice.
No.
Um, Karl Malone,
What kind of the mailman?
Mailman.
Bro, it was so funny when I found out that, Mr. Malone was doing some things.
What, that Cheryl Ford was his daughter? Blew your mind?
No, when he was doing things with, minors. You know what's even more crazy? That child ended up being like a practice squad player in the NFL.
But cool. But anyway, speaking of Cheryl Ford, Detroit is getting a WNBA team in 2029, and no one cares.
We love
But
that.
what's her name? Caitlin Clarkson Forcer. She said no one wants to.
Sophie Cunningham.
No one would want to play in Detroit or Cleveland. And someone like I think it was like Jameel Hill was like, "Bitch, you play for Indiana." Like the fuck you talking about? I don't think she called her a bitch, but like she was like, "You fucking play for Indiana," because
That's
she's
so
from Detroit.
funny. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like, dude,
Did,
it's a nice place to be here.
Detroit is an awesome sports town.
It is, man, and like they now the downtown is really cool. Like
Mm.
they've revamped downtown, and like so it's still not the safest spot, but it's
It's
nice.
fun. It's fun.
Yeah, you have stuff to do. You have casinos. You have a river.
And at any point in time, some shit could pop off, literally.
Exactly, dude.
I,
Weed's legal here.
that's a big plus.
You know.
How many players in all major sports that if they're in like a legal state that they play high as
Oh, dude. Just imagine Rasheed Wallace fucking playing nowadays, dude.
Jesus
Like, I
Christ.
don't know if he'd be able to make it on the court.
I remember when in the 2018 finals when J.R. Smith fucked up the score. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and LeBron's pointing at the fucking thing, and then J.R. said, "We have no timeouts." And then it's even more funny because I remember watching that game live. I'm like, holy shit, LeBron's got 51. They got a chance to score to steal game one and still losing 5, right? And so fucking right when JR got the rebound, I was like, time, and I see LeBron point to the fucking rim, and I see Ty Lue just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on? First of all, people for the poor George Hill. George Hill, 81% career free throw shooter. My ass. My ass.
So there was a story like Ron Artest used to say that like when he was at the beginning of his career when he was on the Bulls, that he would drink like a pint of Hennessy at halftime. Like
there was a it might have been like during an Amazon show or whatever, but Marshawn Lynch was talking to Peyton Manning, and he was telling Peyton, I gotta have a shot before the game, and this fool poured Peyton. He was like a shot of Gatorade, and then Marshall said Hennessy, and then Peyton's like, they allowed that in the locker room. He said, "No, I got it in my bag." I'm like, poor Marshawn, bro. Marshawn was so
yeah,
awesome.
I mean Ricky Williams was probably high every time he played.
Dude, for real.
I mean the dude retired to like go to the Himalayas and just smoke weed.
You want to talk about a crazy like another what if? Like a what if?
Yeah, what is a what if?
Ricky Williams' career.
Yeah, he did great. He was high.
He did great for about this much amount of time.
Then he did great in the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown.
For 1 year until the league figured it the fuck out. Yo, he was
Tannehill, I think, or Brian Greasy, or whoever the fuck their quarterback was.
Yo, he was a baller in college though.
Chad Henne. Was it Chad Henne?
Yeah, I was gonna say because that was pre Tannehill.
Yeah.
I remember when Tannehill was a receiver in college. I think he went to Texas A&M.
Back in my day, Tannehill was a receiver in college. Oh man,
dude, we could like.
I remember Asante Samuel was a senior.
Someone needs to go pick up Asante Samuel Jr., bro. He's still a free agent out there.
I know, dude.
Detroit can use him.
Talk about someone that like I thought was gonna be a fucking superstar.
I think he's a solid corner.
Guess who doesn't need him? Detroit.
Why not?
Because we already have guys. Already have them.
Are they gonna be there by week 8?
Yes. We're gonna sign Brian Westbrook and Terry Fair back. You don't know either of those guys.
Brian Westbrook, the running back?
No, before he was a running back. There was another Brian Westbrook named. He was a cornerback for the Lions in the 90s. And then the running back came along, and everyone forgot about the cornerback.
You don't fucking, because I was thinking, but I was like, is Brian Westbrook gonna get to the Lions?
Yeah, man, he was with Luther Ellis and Tracy Scroggins and Robert Porcher and Stephen Boyd, and
they just sound like shitters.
The dude that they made the playoffs like 6 times in the 90s, dude.
Back when you had Herman Moore.
Yeah, Johnny Morton, Jermaine Crowell, David Sloan, tight end, Corey Schlesinger, he was their fullback for Barry.
Maybe
Scott
if y'all would have had Night Train Lane, up in those times, I might have had something.
Jason Hansen, the greatest kicker ever.
Oh my god.
And we had John Jett as a punter. Who else? We had Desmond Howard for a minute. Bill Schrader. You know who Bill Schrader is? He's a white receiver that played for the Packers, and he was really good. And then he came to Detroit, and he kind of sucked.
Sounds like Jordy Nelson, but Jordy Nelson went to the Raiders.
Yeah. He went from Favre to Scott Mitchell, or like Charlie Batch or something. You know Charlie Batch.
We had Charlie
He's like
Batch.
he's your favorite Steelers quarterback of all time.
Shout out Brian Leftwich.
Yeah, Brian. I think he's on our coaching staff.
I think he isn't. Don't y'all have Hines Ward as y'all? Not Hines Ward. I think it's Antoine Randall as y'all's wide receiver coach.
Yeah. Yeah, we had at least last year we had a lot of former players like as coaches.
Yeah.
But yeah, great '90s Lions, dude. We had one dude. I think his last name was Brown. He got like paralyzed on the field.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
He was a linebacker. I think he was pretty good according to the Madden rating at the time. Madden '96.
Bro, I remember when Ryan Shazier got hurt. Dude, I was so pissed. I was so butthurt.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, when he got fucked up in Cincinnati against
Did he get paralyzed?
Huh?
Did he get paralyzed?
He got he got paralyzed for I think it was a couple hours, and then he had to learn how to rewalk and stuff like that. And during the following draft, he announced the Steelers pick, and he like slowly walked to the podium, and everyone was like, "Yeah," because you always hate to see shit like that happen.
They were literally just cheering for the pick. They're like, "Yeah, TJ Watt."
That's fucked up. No, we already had TJ Watt by then. I don't remember who he announced. Hold on. I'm curious now. Who did he announce?
Rashad Mendenhall.
Fuck Rashad Mendenhall.
James Conner.
He fumbled I miss James Conner so much. Who did Ryan Shazier? James Conner was a baller.
James Conner.
Announce.
He probably announced Jerome Bettis.
No, it was Terrell Edmonds. Terrell Edmonds was straight.
He announced some dude that no one ever heard of. Anyway.
His brother plays in your division now.
Cool.
Yeah, he's
My
Bear.
brother plays in your division.
Fuck you.
I mean, what do you want from me? Hey, we do got to get our Nerfy in, dude. And I almost want to switch it to a Yerfy. I'm not really sure because I can't fucking win anything, dude.
I was gonna say both of us fucking blew it over the weekend.
I might just I think fucking I think I picked like the Tigers and
Yep.
Yeah, the Tigers and Guardians, and Jose Ramirez hits a fucking home run. Like, I'm like, cool.
I had the fucking I had the Mariners and the Pirates, and of course, fucking the Big Dumper ruins my
Big Dumper.
Yeah, yo, Cal Raleigh's putting this shit on this year.
So, I pick the Tigers and Guardians, and Jose Ramirez hits a home run in the first, and they literally score one run the entire game. I'm like, cool. Thanks for having it in the first inning, fuckers.
There's an easy one, but we don't want easy ones.
No, I'm going way off the I need to fucking switch something up, because I've lost literally. Like, if you guys have been paying attention and just been doing the opposite of what I've said, you're on a 5-game winning streak, with these Yerfies. We're trying to get to the nerfs, but shit, there is a really easy one. I don't want to take that one because
I think I see two. Are you taking it?
I don't know. The Rangers Angels?
No, look at the Dodgers and Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, I'm not taking that. That's not an easy one.
Yeah, it is.
All right, I'm gonna pick one that I wouldn't normally pick. I'm just gonna fucking go off on a fucking crazy limb.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the Colorado Rockies and the Boston Red Sox.
Yes.
The Rockies are throwing out Austin Gomber. He's a left-handed pitcher. He's 0 for 1. He's got a 5.49 ERA with 6 strikeouts. Who gives a fuck? Maybe he can get 3 outs. Versus Richard Fitz, which that means his name's Dick Fitz. Yep. Which is kind of cool. He's 0-3 with a 4.5 ERA with 22 strikeouts. Both these teams suck, so hopefully they just suck in the first inning today. Red Sox, give me the Red Sox Rockies to end my streak of Yerfies.
I love how for these there's no stat deep dive. It's all vibes.
Yeah.
Give me,
He's like, whatever, dude.
give
Just
me,
give it to me.
give me the Blue Jays and the White Sox. For the White Sox, they are coming off a series against. Oh, speaking of the 4th of July, the White Sox played the Rockies in Colorado for Game 1 of their series. So everyone was like, "We gotta watch the two shitter teams on the 4th of July."
America.
So the
That's
White
what I said. And I said, dude, we have to dub Canada Day more important than the 4th of July.
Yes. The White Sox are throwing Sean Burke has a 4-7 record and a 4.03 ERA with 73 strikeouts, and the Blue Jays are throwing Jose Barrios with a 4-3 record and a 3.64 ERA and 92 Ks. He is allowing a 230 batting average against these White Sox batters with 162 strikeouts and 18 home runs. Hopefully, it will not be 19 home runs.
All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps up the show.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this marvelous Monday morning. I need to go back to sleep because my eyes haven't been open this entire show. But check us out at over at newleafnews.network or .com. Both of them take you to the same great site. We have daily content, whether it's sports, entertainment, horoscope stuff, politics, all of it. We're on social media under Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Blue Sky. All you can find us at New Leaf News. Check out the Pods and More section. It's got some fantastic podcasts, including my other show, the 64-Bit Legends, with my co-host Melvin Troy. We have usually we try to record once or twice a month, but go check us out at 64-Bit Legends on X, on Instagram. Like I said, you can find our newest episodes on the Pods and More section in under New Leaf News. I am Bobby Kaboose, same two platforms, Gram and X. This is Lawson _1226 on those two platforms as well. Again, those numbers, we know they're significant. So he's still making that list, checking it twice for his birthday. So we have a few months to go. But it's coming up quick. It's only in 95 degrees outside, but soon it's gonna be 20. So with snow. So make sure you get those gifts ready for him. Other than that, man, I told you that I am Mr. Monday Morning. So, and as always, late, or what it was, late as always, Lawson Turner.
Probably.
Or always late, Lawson Turner.
Maybe.
Yeah, man, if you want to take us out, I think I've rambled enough. And thank you for joining us on this. Oh yeah, we're live on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays at 7:30 Eastern time. If you can't join us for breakfast, check out our show after it's posted on YouTube. Of course, subscribe.
Flimsy bacon and cereal with no milk, right?
Hell yeah. No syrup either. Maple syrup's fucking gross. Just put butter on that shit. Not only a little bit of butter. You know why? Because it's bad for your heart. Because the movie Casino taught me that. Not everything can be a home run.
Not everything can be a home run. Sometimes you gotta hit doubles and singles, man.
Right.
As always, thank you so much for joining us for episode 35. 35 episode of the Legends Clubhouse for New Leaf News and
Kevin Durant.
It is Kevin Durant's number. For New Leaf News and the Legends Clubhouse, I'm Lawson Turner, and that's Bobby Kaboose. We will see you beautiful people Wednesday morning. Until next time, peace.